As a student rabbi in New York, on our New York campus, it was strongly recommended that we all participate in some form of training as a chaplain. And some students chose to intern in hospitals, while others received this training in correctional facilities. During the summer of 2023, I interned at Northwestern Hospital in Chicago. Providing pastoral care to patients in the hospitals was one of the most memorable, humbling, meaningful, and also intimidating experience of my training. During my training, I really learned the importance of being calm and fully present with others, especially those in pain, though I must admit I am still working on it. At the hospital, I worked with pastors, with rabbis, imams, reverends, priests, swamis, pagan priests. Everyone was there, and we all visited patients from all faith backgrounds. Our responsibilities were extensive, but one of the most intimidating aspects of this training for me was when I received a call from a patient. I used to receive several, from a patient asking for me to pray for them. Pray for them, I thought. I was not familiar with this language. On my way to the patient's room, I convinced myself that the patient actually said, "Pray with me," and not "pray for me." After all, who was I to pray for someone else? What could I possibly pray for that they hadn't already prayed for themselves? One thing was clear for me was that it was very meaningful for them that I be there with them, pray for them or pray with them, whatever the language is. And you know, I love our liturgy, which encompasses these hundreds of years of traditional Jewish prayers and rituals. But I discovered that, not surprisingly, that even our English translations of our healing prayer, or even my song of Oseh Shalom, resonated with Jewish patients more. For them, these prayers carried rich history, invoked memories, and presented care from their loved ones and from their community and from their God, but not so much with patients from other faiths. Honestly, I admired how chaplains from the different faith backgrounds prayed spontaneously. They would pray for several minutes, touching on every aspect of the patient's life, theology, the afterlife, quoting scriptures. It was really incredible to see. So I decided to review some of the already compiled prayers by other chaplains and consult with my mentors to find a practice that resonates with me, while also balancing the needs of the patients at the hospital. And there it was, the priestly blessing, one of our oldest known prayers that comes from the book of Numbers. A little archaeological kind of history is that in 1979, Professor Gabriel Baki excavated the Katev Hinam site located near Jerusalem. He and his team discovered two tiny, fragile silver scrolls. And they said, based on the scripts and the artifacts found, these scrolls are believed to date back to the late 7th or early 6th century, making them older than our Dead Sea Scrolls, which date to the 4th or 3rd century. So these two amulets, which contain the words of the priestly blessings, are now housed in the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. The texts of these two scrolls, these tiny scrolls, are the priestly blessings, which we read today, as the Cantor said in Parashat Naso. We read that God instructs Moses to tell Aaron and his sons, who are the priests and they are the spiritual leaders of the Israelites, to bless the people. Additionally, God provides these priests with specific instructions and even specific texts to include to say as blessings. Aaron and his sons would bless the people, saying, "May God bless you and keep you. May God lift up God's face towards you and be gracious to you. May God turn God's presence towards you and grant you peace." Rabbi Kelly Olinsky explores the concept of considering the language of blessing as a form of reward. I believe that even in today's language, we often think of blessing as something we've earned, maybe through our hard work or through the actions, through being good. We think we've earned, we get a blessing. He writes, if we understand the word bless as reward, which is pretty acceptable translation, then Aaron's blessing, words of blessing can be seen as explanation to the people, perhaps even as incentive regarding how God will reward them. With this understanding, we can shift the language to express hope and for the future. Like really, it's an incentive for hope for the future and for doing good. Then the language will be, God will bless you and protect you. God will show you kindness and grace. God will bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. This implies that if we align ourselves with God, observe mitzvot, and do good deeds, then we will be rewarded. It also serves as a theological challenge to so many people, especially people who dedicate their lives to doing good and observing mitzvot, but yet do not feel blessings. They do not feel blessings coming their way. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs emphasizes that the power of these priestly blessings lies simply in the simplicity and the beauty of the blessings. He says they possess a strong rhythmic structure, with each line containing 3, 5, and 7 words respectively. In all 3 verses, the second word says, the Lord. The first part of the blessing describes the actions taken by God. God will make his face shine upon you. God will turn his face towards you. The second part illustrates the impact that these blessings provide on us: protection, grace, and peace. Rabbi Simcha Levi, a Hasidic rabbi, teaches on the second blessing, which states, may God be gracious to you, that it refers to the blessing that we receive undeservingly, that these are undeserved gifts. He draws on a connection between the Hebrew words vaikunecha and chinam, vaikunecha meaning gracious, and chinam meaning undeserving. I learned from Rabbi Simcha that even though we may not be deserving of receiving or giving blessings, we are simply worthy of blessings. We are all worthy of blessings. So my practice as the hospital became reciting the priestly blessing at the end of my visit with each patient. I found that this blessing almost resonated with all the patients, even patients from other faith backgrounds. Sometimes I would sing it in Hebrew and read it in English. At the end of my 3 months internship at the hospital, and after shadowing a couple of other spiritual leaders from other faiths, I was working my way to spontaneous prayer. However, I also felt more grounded to include the priestly blessing. It had some structure to it. We spoke with the patients about what it means to be blessed, what it means to feel protected, what it means to feel at peace. So this simple and beautiful blessing that imagines God turning God's face towards us, lifting God's face and facing us, a blessing that does not ask for complete healing or for less pain, because that is not for us to understand or for us to determine. But this prayer offers, that is the Birchat Kohanim, encourages us to dwell in the blessing of grace, in the blessing of kindness, in the blessing of gratitude, faith, and to receive the gift of peace. So as we reflect today on what it means to be blessed and what it means to bless others, may we open our hearts to offer and receive blessings even when we might feel undeserving. May we also offer blessings to those who we feel are undeserving of blessings. That is the way of God. Shabbat Shalom.